Alex had been looking for a roommate for 3 months. His small apartment felt too empty. And honestly, he needed someone to split the rent with. Money was tight, and living alone in the city wasn't cheap. He posted ads everywhere he could think of, but most people who responded were either too messy, too loud, or just plain weird. Then Luna replied to his ad. Her message was different from the others. She wrote in perfect sentences, asked all the right questions about the apartment, and even sent references from previous landlords. Everything about her seemed normal, almost too good to be true. When they met at a coffee shop to discuss the living arrangement, Alex noticed she was quiet but polite. She had this way of listening that made him feel like she was really paying attention to every word he said. Luna was beautiful in an unusual way. Her eyes were a bit larger than most people's, and they seemed to change color depending on the light. Her hair was almost silver, which she explained was natural, though Alex had never seen anything quite like it. She dressed simply, but somehow always looked put together. There was something about her voice, too. It had this musical quality that made even ordinary conversation sound interesting. She agreed to all his house rules without argument. No parties. Keep common areas clean, and respect each other's privacy. She paid the deposit immediately and said she could move in the next week. Alex felt relieved that his roommate search was finally over. The first few days went smoothly. Luna kept to herself mostly, staying in her room during the day and only coming out for meals or to use the bathroom, she said. She worked from home, doing something with computers, though she was vague about the details. Alex didn't push for more information. Everyone deserved their privacy. But then he started noticing strange things. It began with sounds coming from her room. Not loud sounds, just soft humming noises that seemed to happen at random times. At first, Alex thought she might be listening to music or maybe doing some kind of meditation. The sounds were actually quite pleasant, like someone humming a lullaby, but not quite human somehow. Luna had brought very few belongings when she moved in. Her room had a simple bed, a desk, and some unusual items that Alex glimpsed when her door was open. There were small, crystal-like objects that seemed to glow faintly in the dark. She had books, but they were written in symbols he'd never seen before. When he asked about them, she said they were in her native language and quickly changed the subject. She also had some odd habits. Luna never used the microwave, and when Alex used it, she would leave the room looking uncomfortable. She preferred to eat her food cold or would heat it up in a pot on the stove. She also seemed to have trouble sleeping at night, often moving around her room until the early hours of the morning. The first time Alex noticed the real connection was on a Tuesday evening. He'd had a terrible day at work. His boss had criticized a project he'd worked on for weeks, and he felt frustrated and defeated as he sat on his couch, thinking about whether he should look for a new job. He heard a soft sound from Luna's room. It wasn't her usual humming. This was different, almost like someone sighing with sadness. Alex paused, wondering if she was okay. But the sound stopped as soon as he stopped thinking about his problems. He went back to worrying about work, and, again, he heard that same gentle, melancholy sound. This couldn't be a coincidence. Over the next few days, Alex started paying more attention. When he was happy about something, like when his favorite team won a game, he would hear lighter, more cheerful sounds from Luna's room. When he was stressed about paying bills, the sounds became more tense and worried. It was as if she was somehow responding to his emotions. The strangest part was that Luna herself didn't seem to notice she was making these sounds. She would come out of her room looking normal, make small talk about the weather, or ask if he needed anything from the store. She never mentioned the sounds, and Alex began to wonder if he was imagining things. But he wasn't imagining anything. The pattern was too clear to ignore. One evening, Alex decided to test his theory. He sat in the living room and deliberately thought about his ex-girlfriend, remembering their breakup and how lonely he'd felt afterward. Within minutes, he heard a soft, almost musical sound from Luna's room, not sad exactly, but understanding, like someone offering comfort without words. Then he thought about his childhood dog, a golden retriever named Buddy who had died when Alex was in high school. The sound that came from Luna's room was different this time, warm and nostalgic, like someone sharing a happy memory. Alex felt his heart racing. This was impossible. Yet it was happening. Somehow, his roommate was responding to his thoughts and feelings. But how and why? He started watching Luna more carefully. She moved gracefully, almost as if she was floating rather than walking. Her skin seemed to have a subtle glow, especially in dim light. Sometimes, when she thought no one was looking, she would touch objects in a way that seemed strange, running her fingers over surfaces as if she was reading something invisible. The most unsettling discovery came when Alex realized that Luna never seemed to eat normal food. She would go through the motions of cooking, but he never saw her actually consume anything. Instead, she would hold her hands over the food and breathe in deeply, as if she was absorbing something from it without actually eating. And then there were her eyes. Sometimes, when Alex caught her looking at him, it felt like she was seeing right through him, understanding things about him that he hadn't even told her. It wasn't uncomfortable exactly, but it was intense in a way that made him feel exposed. Despite all these strange observations, Alex found himself growing comfortable with Luna's presence. She was considerate and respectful, never leaving messes or being disruptive. In fact, since she'd moved in, he'd been sleeping better and feeling more relaxed at home. There was something calming about having her around, even if he couldn't explain why. But the mystery of the sounds continued to puzzle him. Every time he had a strong emotion or got lost in deep thought, Luna would respond with these soft, involuntary sounds. It was becoming impossible to ignore, and Alex knew he would have to address it eventually. The question was, how do you ask your roommate if she's somehow reading your mind? As he lay in bed that night, thinking about all the strange things he'd noticed, Alex heard one more sound from Luna's room, a gentle, almost protective humming that seemed to wrap around him like a blanket. Whatever was happening between them, he had the feeling his life was about to change in ways he couldn't imagine. The next morning, Alex woke up with a strange feeling in his chest. It wasn't bad, just different, like something inside him had shifted overnight. He could hear Luna moving around in the kitchen, preparing what she called breakfast, though he'd never actually seen her eat anything substantial. As he got ready for work, Alex decided to pay closer attention to the patterns he'd been noticing. He needed to know if he was going crazy or if something truly unusual was happening in his apartment. During his morning coffee, Alex deliberately thought about his upcoming presentation at work. He felt nervous about speaking in front of his colleagues, and his stomach twisted with anxiety. Almost immediately, he heard a soft, worried sound from the kitchen where Luna was standing. She was facing away from him, organizing something in a cabinet, but her shoulders seemed to tense at the exact moment his nervousness peaked. Alex tried to push the anxious thoughts away and focus on positive things instead. He remembered the compliment his coworker had given him yesterday about his creative ideas. As soon as the proud, happy feeling filled his mind, he heard a completely different sound, lighter, almost like gentle laughter, coming from Luna's direction. She turned around then, and Alex quickly looked down at his coffee cup, pretending he hadn't been watching her. But when he glanced up again, Luna was looking at him with those unusual eyes, and for just a moment, he could have sworn he saw understanding there. "Have a good day at work," she said in that musical voice of hers, and Alex felt a warm feeling spread through his chest. The sound that followed was so soft and comforting that he almost didn't want to leave the apartment. At work, Alex found it hard to concentrate. His mind kept drifting back to Luna and the impossible connection he was discovering. During lunch, he sat alone in the break room and decided to do a more deliberate test. He closed his eyes and thought about his favorite childhood memory, a summer day when his family had gone to the beach, and he built sandcastles with his little sister. Of course, Luna wasn't there to respond, but Alex realized something important. He could almost predict what kind of sound she would make if she were nearby. The memory was warm and nostalgic, so he imagined she would make one of those gentle, harmonious sounds that seemed to carry emotional colors. When he got home that evening, Alex found Luna sitting on the couch, reading one of her strange books. She looked up when he entered, and again, he felt that sensation of being truly seen by someone. "How was your day?" she asked, closing the book and giving him her full attention. "It was okay," Alex replied, but as he said it, he was thinking about how frustrated he'd been with a difficult client. Sure enough, Luna made a small sound that seemed to echo his irritation perfectly. This time, Alex couldn't ignore it. "Luna, can I ask you something?" She nodded, her expression becoming more serious. "Do you ever notice that you make sounds when I'm feeling emotional about something?" Luna's eyes widened slightly, and she was quiet for a long moment. "You've been paying attention," she said finally. "It's hard not to," Alex admitted. "Every time I have a strong feeling, you seem to respond to it somehow. Are you doing it on purpose?" "No," Luna said softly. "It's not something I can control." Alex felt his heart racing. This was the first time she'd acknowledged that something unusual was happening. "But you do know it's happening," Luna sighed. And the sound was different from her usual responses, more human, more tired. "I know. I've been trying to find a way to explain it to you." "Explain what exactly?" Luna stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the city lights. "Alex, what would you say if I told you that some people are more sensitive to the emotions of others than most, like empaths?" "I've heard of that, something like that, but more intense." She turned back to face him. "Some people can actually feel what others are feeling, almost as if the emotions were their own. And sometimes, when those feelings are particularly strong, the person experiencing them might react physically." Alex stared at her. "Are you saying you can feel my emotions?" "I'm saying that when you have strong feelings, especially when you're thinking deeply about something, it affects me in ways I can't control." The room fell silent except for the distant sound of traffic outside. Alex's mind was racing, trying to process what Luna was telling him. "Is that why you moved in here?" he asked. "Because you have this ability." "Partly," Luna admitted. "I need to be around people, but most living situations are too overwhelming for me." "You're different, Alex. Your emotions are clear and honest. They don't hurt to experience." Alex felt a strange mix of curiosity and concern. "Doesn't it bother you, feeling other people's emotions all the time? It can be exhausting." Luna said, "But with you, it's different. Your feelings are like music, sometimes sad, sometimes happy, but always beautiful in their own way." As she spoke, Alex felt a warmth spreading through his chest. He was amazed by what she was telling him, and also touched that she found his emotions beautiful rather than burdensome. "So when I think about sad things, you feel sad too?" "Not exactly. I don't feel your sadness as my own sadness. It's more like I can sense the color and texture of your feelings. When you're sad, I experience something that resonates with sadness, and my body responds to that resonance." Alex walked over to where she was standing by the window. "And the sounds you make, they just happen," Luna said, "like breathing or blinking. I can't stop them." "What about when I think about—" Alex paused, suddenly embarrassed. "What about when I think about more personal things?" Luna looked away, and Alex noticed a slight blush on her cheeks. "All emotions create resonance," she said quietly. "Even the ones people usually keep private." Alex felt his face getting warm. "Oh, I'm sorry if that makes you uncomfortable." "It doesn't make me uncomfortable," Luna said, looking back at him. "It makes me understand you better. Most people hide their true feelings, but with this connection, I can sense who you really are underneath all the walls people usually put up." They stood there in the growing darkness, neither of them turning on the lights. Alex was trying to absorb everything Luna had told him, and she seemed to be waiting for his reaction. "Are there others like you?" he asked finally. "Some," Luna said, "but not many choose to live closely with other people. It's usually too overwhelming. Why is it different with me?" Luna smiled for the first time that evening. "Because you have a kind heart, Alex. Your emotions are honest and gentle. Being around you feels like listening to a beautiful song rather than being caught in a storm." As she spoke, Alex felt something shifting inside him. He was beginning to understand that he wasn't just living with an unusual roommate. He was part of something much more extraordinary than he'd ever imagined. The sounds Luna made weren't just random noises. They were a form of communication, a way for her to express her response to the deepest parts of who he was. And somehow, that realization made him feel less alone than he'd felt in years. The conversation with Luna left Alex feeling confused and curious at the same time. Over the next few days, he found himself being more aware of his own thoughts and emotions, wondering what Luna might be experiencing because of them. It was like having a new sense that he'd never noticed before. He started paying attention to small details about Luna that he missed earlier. The way she moved was too graceful for a normal person. When she walked across the room, her feet barely made any sound on the floor. Sometimes, when she thought he wasn't looking, she would hold her hand over plants in their apartment, and the plants seemed to grow healthier and more vibrant. Luna also seemed to know things about him that he'd never mentioned. When he was having trouble with a project at work, she would leave his favorite tea on the kitchen counter without being asked. When he was feeling lonely, she would spend more time in the common areas of the apartment, not saying much but just being present in a way that made him feel less alone. One evening, Alex was sitting on the couch thinking about his childhood. He'd been remembering his grandmother, who had passed away when he was in college. She had been the most understanding person in his life, always knowing exactly what to say when he was upset or confused. As these memories filled his mind, he heard Luna make a sound that was different from her usual responses. It was deeper, more resonant, like the sound of wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Alex looked toward her room, where the sound had come from, and felt a sudden urge to know more about who Luna really was. He'd accepted her explanation about being sensitive to emotions, but there were too many other strange things about her that didn't fit with any normal explanation. The next morning, Alex decided to ask her directly. "Luna," he said as they sat at the breakfast table, "I need to ask you something, and I hope you'll be honest with me." She looked up from her cup of tea, those unusual eyes focusing on him with that intense attention she always gave him. "What do you want to know? I don't think you're just someone who's sensitive to emotions." Alex said carefully, "There are too many other things about you that don't add up. The way you move, the way you seem to know things about me that I've never told you. The fact that I've never seen you actually eat food. Who are you really?" Luna set down her cup and was quiet for a long time. Alex could see her thinking, as if she was trying to decide how much to tell him. Finally, she spoke. "What would you say if I told you that I'm not from around here?" "Not from around here, like not from this city? Not from this planet," Luna said simply. Alex stared at her. He'd been expecting another explanation about unusual human abilities, not this. "Are you saying you're an alien?" "I'm saying I'm someone who ended up very far from home and had to learn how to live in a place that's completely different from where I come from." Alex felt his mind struggling to process this information. "But you look human. Where I come from, we're not that different from humans in many ways. We have similar bodies, similar needs for companionship and purpose. But we also have abilities that humans don't have, like sensing emotions, among other things." Luna said, "My people are naturally connected to the consciousness of living beings around us. We can sense thoughts and feelings as easily as you can see colors or hear sounds. It's just how we experience the world." Alex leaned back in his chair, trying to absorb what she was telling him. "How did you end up here?" "It's complicated," Luna said. "I was part of a group that was exploring. We had an accident with our transportation, and I got separated from the others. I've been trying to find a way to contact them ever since." "How long have you been here?" "About 2 years in your time." Measurement. Alex felt a wave of sympathy for her. That must be incredibly lonely. As he thought this, Luna made one of her soft sounds, and Alex realized she was responding to his compassion. "It was lonely," she said, "until I met you." "Is that why you responded to my roommate ad?" "Because you needed someone to live with, partly, but also because your ad was different from the others. You wrote about wanting someone who would respect privacy, but also be a good companion. Most humans seem to want either complete isolation or constant interaction. You seem to understand that there could be something in between. Alex thought about this. And my emotions don't overwhelm you the way other people's do. Your emotions are clear and honest, Luna explained. Many humans have conflicted feelings. They feel one thing but try to convince themselves they feel something else. That creates a kind of static that's painful for me to experience. But you feel things directly and accept those feelings, even when they're uncomfortable. It's like listening to a pure note instead of a discordant chord. What about the sounds you make? Is that normal for your people? When we're around consciousness that resonates with us, yes? It's an involuntary response, like the way flowers turn toward sunlight. The stronger the emotional connection, the more pronounced the response becomes. Alex felt his heart beating faster. Emotional connection. Luna looked down at her hands. Alex, I need you to understand something. My people don't form attachments the way humans do. We connect to consciousness, but we don't usually develop what you would call personal relationships. But living with you, experiencing your thoughts and feelings every day, it's changed something in me. Changed how? I've started to care about your well-being in a way that goes beyond my natural, empathic responses. When you're happy, I feel genuine joy. When you're sad, I want to comfort you. When you're afraid, I feel protective. These aren't just resonances anymore. They're my own feelings. Alex felt a warmth spreading through his chest, and he heard Luna make a soft, musical sound that seemed to harmonize with his emotional state. Is that why you've been more tired lately? He asked. Because you're feeling things more intensely. Yes, my body isn't designed to maintain this level of emotional connection for extended periods, but I don't want it to stop. They sat in silence for a moment, both processing what had been shared. Are you trying to go back to your people? Alex asked. I've been working on it, Luna said. But even if I could make contact with them, I'm not sure I could leave now. This connection we have, it's something I've never experienced before. Something I don't think I could find anywhere else. Alex realized that his own feelings had been changing too. What had started as curiosity about his unusual roommate had grown into something deeper. He cared about Luna's well-being, looked forward to seeing her every day, and felt more understood by her than he'd ever felt by anyone else. Luna, he said softly, I need to tell you something too. She looked up at him, and those large, expressive eyes seemed to hold starlight. I've been falling in love with you, he said, and I think I have been since the first day you moved in. The sound Luna made then was unlike anything Alex had heard before, pure, beautiful, and so full of emotion that he felt tears forming in his eyes. I know, she whispered. I've been feeling it happening, and I've been falling in love with you, too. In that moment, Alex understood that he wasn't just living with someone from another world. He was part of something completely new, a love that existed across the boundaries of species and planets, a connection that neither of them had expected but both of them treasured. After their conversation about love, everything in the apartment felt different. Alex found himself walking around with a constant feeling of wonder, like he was living in a dream that he never wanted to wake up from. Luna seemed more relaxed, too, as if keeping her secret had been weighing on her more than she'd let on. The next few weeks were a time of discovery for both of them. Alex learned more about Luna's world and abilities, while Luna learned about human emotions and relationships. It was like two people from different countries trying to understand each other's cultures, except the differences were much bigger than anything two humans had ever faced. Luna explained that where she came from, her people lived in harmony with their environment in ways that humans couldn't imagine. They could sense the life force in plants and animals, communicate through shared consciousness, and even influence the growth of living things with their touch. This explained why the plants in their apartment had been thriving since she moved. And we don't have individual families the way humans do, Luna told Alex one evening as they sat together on the couch. We're all connected to each other through our shared consciousness. When a child is born, the entire community raises them together. That sounds lonely, Alex said, thinking about his own family and the special bonds he had with his parents and siblings. It wasn't lonely because we were never truly alone, Luna replied. But it also wasn't personal in the way human relationships are. I never had someone who cared about me specifically. Just me, the way you do. Alex felt that familiar warmth in his chest, followed by Luna's soft, musical response. He was getting used to this constant exchange of emotions, and it was becoming one of his favorite things about their relationship. But loving someone from another world came with challenges that Alex had never expected. Physical touch was complicated, because Luna's sensitivity to emotions made it overwhelming for her when they were too close. The first time Alex had tried to hold her hand, she made a sound that was almost like pain, and he quickly pulled away. It's not that I don't want to, Luna had explained, looking frustrated with herself. It's just that when we touch, I feel everything you're feeling so intensely that it's hard to handle. They had to learn new ways to show affection. Instead of holding hands, they would sit close enough to feel each other's warmth. Instead of hugging, they would look into each other's eyes and share emotions through Luna's natural abilities. Alex found that he could communicate with her just by thinking loving thoughts, and she would respond with sounds that were better than any words. One day, Alex came home from work to find Luna sitting at her desk, working with one of her crystal-like devices. The object was glowing brighter than usual, and Luna looked more focused than he'd ever seen her. "What are you doing?" he asked. "I'm trying to contact my people," Luna said without looking up. "I've been working on this for months, but I think I'm finally getting close to making a connection." Alex felt a sudden cold feeling in his stomach. "Are you planning to leave?" Luna looked up at him then, and he could see conflict in her eyes. "I don't know," she said honestly. "I need to at least try to make contact with them. They might be worried about me, or they might need my help." Over the next few days, Alex watched Luna work on her communication device with mixed feelings. He was happy that she might be able to contact her people, but he was also terrified that she would decide to leave him. He tried to hide these feelings, but of course, Luna could sense everything he was experiencing. "You're afraid I'll leave," she said one evening as they prepared dinner together. "Aren't you?" Alex asked. "If your people found a way to bring you home, wouldn't you want to go back?" Luna was quiet for a long moment. "A few months ago, I would have said yes without hesitation. But now, I'm not sure I could leave you, Alex. What we have together is something I never experienced in my old life. But your people are your family. They're like you in ways I'll never be." "That's true," Luna said. "But love isn't about being the same as someone else. It's about choosing to build a life together despite your differences." That night, Alex lay in bed thinking about what it would mean to have a future with Luna. Would they always have to keep her identity secret? Could they ever have a normal relationship? What would happen if other people discovered what she was, as if sensing his worries? Luna made a soft sound from her room that seemed to wrap around him like a comforting blanket. Even through the wall between them, she was able to offer him peace. The next morning, Alex woke up to find Luna sitting at the kitchen table, staring at her communication device. The crystal was glowing steadily, and there was an expression on her face that he'd never seen before. "Luna, what's happening?" "I made contact," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm connected to my people." Alex felt his heart sink, but he tried to keep his voice steady. "What did they say?" "They're relieved that I'm safe. They've been looking for me, but they couldn't track me across such a great distance." Luna looked up at him with tears in her eyes. "They want me to come home, Alex." "And what did you tell them?" "I told them I needed time to think." Alex sat down across from her, trying to process what this meant. "Can they come get you?" "They're working on it. It might take some time, but they think they can create a way to bring me back to them." They sat in silence for a while, both lost in their own thoughts. Alex wanted to ask her to stay, but he also knew that wasn't fair. Luna had a life and a family that she'd been separated from for years. "There's something else," Luna said finally. "I told them about you." "What did you say?" "I told them about the connection we have, about how I've changed since being here. I explained that I've learned to love in a way that our people don't normally experience. How did they react? They were surprised and concerned. They think that prolonged exposure to human consciousness might have changed me in ways that could be dangerous. Alex felt a chill run through him. Dangerous how? They're worried that I might not be able to readjust to our way of life, that I might be too connected to human emotions to function normally in our society. What do you think? Luna looked at him with those deep, expressive eyes. I think they might be right. I'm not the same person who left our world 2 years ago. Living with you, loving you, has changed something fundamental in me. Is that bad? I don't know, Luna said honestly, but I know that I don't want to lose what we have together. Alex reached across the table and placed his hand near hers. Not quite touching, but close enough that they could feel each other's warmth. Then don't, he said. Stay with me. We'll figure out how to make it work. Luna made a sound that was part laugh, part sob. It's not that simple, Alex. If I don't go back, I'll be cut off from my people forever. And if I do go back, I might lose the ability to love you the way I do now. So what do we do? I don't know, Luna said. But I know that whatever happens, what we have together is real. It's changed both of us, and that's something no one can take away. As they sat there, holding on to each other without touching, Alex realized that loving someone from another world meant accepting that some problems didn't have easy solutions. But it also meant discovering kinds of love that no one had ever experienced before. The days following Luna's contact with her people were filled with a strange mixture of hope and sadness. Alex could feel the weight of the decision hanging over both of them, and Luna's usual calm demeanor showed cracks of uncertainty that made his heart ache for her. Luna spent hours each day communicating with her people through the crystal device. Alex would hear different tones and frequencies coming from her room, sounds that were both beautiful and alien. Sometimes Luna would emerge from these conversations looking exhausted. Other times she seemed energized but troubled. What are they saying to you? Alex asked one evening after Luna had been communicating for nearly 3 hours straight. They're trying to understand what's happened to me, Luna replied, settling onto the couch beside him. They've never encountered a situation like this before. One of our people forming such a deep emotional bond with someone from another species. It's unprecedented. Is that why they're worried? Partly. But they're also curious. Some of the elders think that what I've experienced here might be important for our people to understand. They believe that the ability to love in the way humans do could be an evolution of consciousness that we've never explored. Alex felt a spark of hope. So they might not want you to come back right away. Luna made one of her soft sounds, but this one carried notes of sadness. It's complicated, Alex. There are different opinions among my people. Some want me to return immediately so they can study what's happened to me. Others think I should stay here longer to fully understand this new form of consciousness I've developed. And what do you want? Luna turned to look at him, and in her eyes, Alex saw a depth of emotion that took his breath away. I want to be with you, she said simply, but I also can't ignore my responsibility to my people. Over the next week, Alex watched Luna struggle with her decision. She would spend long hours in meditation, trying to understand her own feelings and what they meant for her future. Alex did his best to support her without influencing her choice, even though every fiber of his being wanted to ask her to stay. Then, one morning, Luna made an announcement that changed everything. My people have made a decision, she said as they sat at breakfast. They want to come here. Alex nearly choked on his coffee. Come here? To Earth, not to Earth permanently, Luna clarified. But they want to send a small group to study what's happened between us. They believe that understanding human emotion and the kind of love we've developed could be valuable for our species. How do you feel about that? Nervous. Luna admitted, my people have never made direct contact with humans before. But if it means I don't have to choose between you and them, I'm willing to try. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of preparation. Luna worked with her people to arrange the meeting, while Alex tried to wrap his mind around the fact that he was about to meet beings from another world. Luna assured him that her people were peaceful and curious rather than threatening. But the idea still felt overwhelming. What will they think of me? Alex asked the night before the planned meeting. "They'll think you're remarkable," Luna said. "You've accomplished something that no one from either of our species has ever done before. You've created a bridge between two completely different forms of consciousness." The meeting took place in a secluded park outside the city, late at night, when no other humans would be around. Alex felt his heart pounding as Luna led him to a clearing where her crystal device was set up, and glowing brighter than he'd ever seen it. "They're coming," Luna whispered, taking his hand for the first time since they'd known each other. Alex gasped. Luna's touch sent waves of emotion through him that were unlike anything he'd ever experienced. He could feel her love for him, but also her love for her people, her fear about the future, and her hope that somehow everything would work out. 3 figures materialized in the clearing, appearing as if they were stepping out of thin air. They looked similar to Luna, tall, graceful, with those same large, expressive eyes. But there was something different about them, something that made Alex understand immediately that these beings had never experienced the kind of individual emotions that Luna had learned to feel. The conversation that followed was unlike anything Alex could have imagined. Luna's people communicated primarily through shared consciousness, but they made an effort to speak aloud so that Alex could understand. They asked him questions about human emotion, about love, about the nature of individual relationships. "We have observed your species for many years," one of them said, "but we never understood the power of what you call personal love. Through Luna's experiences, we are beginning to see that this emotion creates possibilities for growth and connection that we had not considered." "What does that mean for Luna?" Alex asked. "It means," another figure said, "that we believe Luna has discovered something important. We would like her to remain here, with you, to continue learning about this form of consciousness. But we also want to maintain contact with her, so that she can share what she learns with our people." Alex felt a surge of joy so strong that Luna made a sound like bells ringing in harmony. "You mean she can stay, if that is what she chooses," the third figure said. "But there will be conditions. Luna will need to serve as a bridge between our peoples. She will need to help us understand not just love, but all the complex emotions that make humans who they are." Luna looked at Alex, and he could see the question in her eyes. This wasn't just about their relationship anymore. It was about something much bigger. "What do you think?" she asked. Alex thought about everything they'd been through together, about the unique love they'd discovered, and about the possibility that their relationship could help two completely different species understand each other better. "I think," he said, "that our love was never just about us. Maybe it was always meant to be something that could change the world." Luna's response was the most beautiful sound Alex had ever heard. Pure joy mixed with love and hope for the future. 6 months later, Alex and Luna were still living together, but their life had transformed in ways they never could have expected. Luna had become Earth's first official ambassador to her people, and Alex had become the first human to participate in interspecies emotional research. Their apartment had been converted into a sort of embassy where Luna's people could visit and learn about human emotion while humans could begin to understand the consciousness-based society that Luna came from. Alex still went to work at his regular job, but now he also spent time helping researchers understand how human emotions worked. Luna still made those soft, involuntary sounds when Alex had strong feelings, but now they understood that these sounds were actually a form of communication that could help bridge the gap between two very different ways of experiencing the world. Most importantly, their love had grown stronger rather than weaker under the pressure of their new responsibilities. They had learned that true love wasn't just about two people caring for each other. It was about what those two people could create together. That was bigger than either of them alone. Every night, as they lay in their separate beds, physical intimacy was still challenging due to Luna's sensitivity. Alex would think loving thoughts toward Luna, and she would respond with sounds that had become the soundtrack of his life. They had discovered that love really could transcend the boundaries between worlds, species, and ways of thinking, and in doing so, they had opened up possibilities for connection and understanding that neither humans nor Luna's people had ever imagined. Their story had become proof that love, in its truest form, was not just a feeling between two individuals. It was a force that could change everything it touched, creating new realities that neither person could have achieved alone. And sometimes, late at night, Alex would hear Luna make a sound that seemed to contain all the love in the universe, and he would know that they had found something that was truly eternal.